It's the one that you go up, you pull up to the spot, and you fucking eat out of your car window. But it's not the same. Same brand. Yeah, same brand, I believe. They're the ones that sell the root beer. Yeah, that's the one. It just obviously the Japanese version, so it ain't. You see the McDonald's menu. You know what I'm saying? It's just it is different, but yeah, again. Fuck. Got a fish. How about getting McDonald's? Hell no. Y'all love that shit. Y'all love that shit, bro. Why do you resort to it? Nah, that's not the problem. The problem is if you're not conscientious of the time you're gonna consume food and then you put yourself to the spot where it's late and now everything is closed and now you want to eat, you only give yourself the option to eat McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You gotta be more intentional.
That's always trash. I think they're going down. Right?
Yeah. Or the Lawsons, go get the chicken and the rice and warm that shit up. It's valid when you put it in a bowl, but you're gonna do it. You want to do it just one day. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't get that much diabetes and high cholesterol off of a 10-piece chicken nugget with a Big Mac and sweet and sour sauce, large fries, and a fucking large Coke. You know, fine. Think you'll be all right. I don't know how many people are in here yet. It's good. We all family. Look, not even that many people in here. I think I don't know. No. Oh man, they got the short entry like right there.
It's double wide surprise.
Double wide surprise.
If there is look like the one that is small.
The manipulation for me. No, I'm not doing all of that.
Cool.
They stopped me out. Cold. Okay, 1 minute into this garbage. Where's the open? They really pushed into the short entries like swiftly, bruh. See if we can get in there one more again. What time is this? 8:15 a.m. 8:30 didn't even reach above the 8:15. So if that's a short entry, then they protected it. And we should not liquidate this high prior to going down. So they'll probably just keep pressing the ideology here. And then after manipulation happens, you could see the order blocks down here actually get touched. And that 1, 2, 3 that has never technically been touched. They had a lot of cells here. You can see they aimed for it, grabbed it, used it to get back in the range. And news already did all that garbage. So technically there's enough fuel to get to the highs. But to continue, I have no idea. Plus, Apple, Nvidia, and all them homies, they did really good yesterday with all-time highs, which I totally forgot to check the heat map for all that stuff. So I could see why we were grinding the way we were yesterday. But Nvidia and Apple are kind of chilling right now after their big runs. So, no, oh, I'm good. Yeah, lots of wicks. So I won't try to be too hasty with this manipulation phase. To be honest, it should last until lunch. But if we get direction, then fuck it. I mean, we can try to take the trade. But there's no edge at the moment because we didn't get any order blocks. We didn't get the 1, 2, 3 down here. There's definitely like smaller ones here, which are valid, but there's no order blocks or anything to give us that edge. And news manipulated the shorts entries up here. So from the looks of it, we got Tokyo's low. No one's touched Tokyo's low until New York right now. And you can see London barely got that. And London didn't even go for the high either. So London session basically played in the confines of Tokyo. And then it looks like New York got that liquidation with the news. So if that's the case, if this is a Tokyo short and this is a London and New York short, then market manipulation should give us another short. And then they should sell off the market, which would be quote unquote that retracement of this huge run that we've had in the previous market day. So big run, all right, technically retrace, and then maybe we can fix the trend and go for highs, unless they're going to be aggressive and keep inching this thing higher and higher and higher. Because right now we're currently at an all-time high. So we've never been this high before, and we're still pushing strong, which is fine, right? We want that to happen, but in this particular situation, I'm sure they will aim for liquidity before pushing to those bigger highs. You know, they hate to see us win, so I'm sure they'll pull the rug on us first. So patience is well,
Is that a pretty common like picture for the 936 for news to come out at 8:30 like that?
yeah, all the time. 8:30 is always for the red folder news when it comes down to the unemployment reports, the GDPs, the CPIs, the PPIs, like all the data reports come out at 8:30. Only meetings have differentiating time frames, like 2 p.m. sometimes.
Yeah, I meant the 936 like last night's entries, like where the sessions were, because they seemed pretty tight in this, like Tokyo and London's entries were pretty close to the same, like just bouncing in between the same walls almost. So that's what I meant. Like, is that picture from last night expected to see on a night on a day for like 8:30 news?
Yes, depending on what happened prior. So if you get a big run like this, then yeah, definitely. You'll see a lot more accumulation and tighter accumulation because like we talk about all the time, engineering liquidity is the goal. So after a big run like this, they got to use liquidity. But now in order to fuel little runs after that big run, they use this to engineer liquidity, right? So they save the stop losses here, save the stop losses here, and then they use the market to go ahead, tag them. Once they grab them, then they can sweep them, right? And that's a smaller fuel for a little push for a move. And every time they do this liquidity grab and run, they're just creating another stop loss pull, do the same thing, do it again. Eventually, they pull the same move off maybe 2, 3 times, and then they use that to do a nuke, right? And just drops the market exponentially. So yeah, this picture is very common with 8:30 news after a run. If there is no run and you've been consolidating forever, sometimes the news is a little bit different. Maybe Tokyo gets an entry and then London gets a higher entry and then New York gets a higher entry. And then they aim for something really high for the news. So it just rockets up, grabs it, and then just dumps completely. So that's a whole different other picture for this style of news trading.
I got you. Yeah, it just didn't seem like London was trying to test the levels too much from Tokyo session. So it was like they were anticipating the 8:30 news like we saw.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. They try to protect the areas so that way the news can use the fuel. But you can see right before 8:30, right? Here's 8 o'clock, here's 8:15. They swept it even before the news. And then the news just gave it the continuation. That's why I got an early entry because I was like, yeah, y'all not about to get in and then run this news without me. So I was like, all right, let me buy that shit.
Yeah, I
Um,
wasn't sure what the reaction was going to be off the 830 wick because I know sometimes it'll
yeah,
slingshot down, slingshot up. So I was sitting there waiting for it and it didn't do what I was expecting. I was like, oh, fuck.
yeah, it's because they drew the liquidity before the news. But I'll explain it for sure. I'm just very curious on if they're gonna keep manipulating this area because I'd like to enter some shorts again because they did not get these order blocks down here and they did not get the 1, 2, 3 into the order block. So I'd want to get shorts up here and take it to that before actually getting a big run. But I'm not sure if that's what they're doing yet because it doesn't seem that aggressive right now. Yeah, they definitely playing with us for sure. But it's fine. I mean, shit. Imagine they push above this line and like really dig higher. Like it's totally possible. This is the manipulation phase, right? So
So what are you so like as you're like waiting to see if they're gonna go for shorts, like what's like your are you waiting for it to touch the line and like hold, or are you waiting to make sure it doesn't blast off above it, or like kind of like what's your thought process in this manipulation phase?
judging by the way the candle's moving is relatively slow, and then out of nowhere, it just like picks up really fast. So let's see if we go to the 1 minute here. You can see, man, I really wish I could delete all this shit. Yeah, let's just delete it. I'll just draw it again. All right, so
So you got to make another chart, bro.
I know, bro. Fuck. But here's market open, right? Market open only gave us, I can't even see the wick. I'm gonna move this one candle. All right, market open gave us this is the lowest point, and then technically we didn't reach any new price, right? So what I mean by new price is here's the most recent high, and here's the most recent low. We haven't even touched shit yet. So there's no liquidity from the market open just yet. So like you said, right? What are you looking for that would allow you to get your short entry? If this is the area of short entry that the news has displayed, right? Because this is 8:15 and this is 8:30. So this is where news orders are. So if they would like to manipulate it, they will probably dig right above the news orders and then close the candle right back under these so they don't make any new highs. I'd like to see something like that. So right now we're certainly pushing up. We didn't get any order blocks down here, but there were a lot of sell stops. So technically that could have been a liquidity grab that can push us to the highs. And we haven't gotten that high just yet. So I'm trying to see if we can get that and then fall back under. If we get that, then there's not a lot of momentum to push this thing up right now. So if that's the case, we'll probably have to see another liquidation, that U-turn that will go back under the level, and then we can take the sells down. But there's a lot that goes into it right now. So we're just gonna have to watch the price action and see what they can give us because they can easily just keep pushing this thing down and then eventually just dump it themselves and get it down there instead. So there's a lot of ways it can go, but when we talk about possibilities, the market only goes up or down, right? So depending on what it does first is going to give us it's going to allow us to pay attention to the reaction that's expected. So if it goes up first, then I want to see a sharp move and a close. If it goes down first, then I want to see it basically like push down really fast, come up slow, push down really fast, come up slow, right? And that should give us another 1, 2, 3 idea. And there's a lot of order blocks down here somewhere that I had drawn out earlier. And if we get that, then we know that's the slow before the pop, and then we should pop back up. So depending on what we do first is how we can choose our reaction. Does that kind of
Okay. Yeah, that
okay?
does. I was trying to ask you about like so like the way down makes sense. On the way up, you're since it's going slow, you're waiting to see it kind of get into the pre-market shorts area and then try and like find a good entry above that, or you're gonna see like it go way above that and you turn back in and then get sells.
Yes. Yes. So there's two ways you can approach this as a trader. You can anticipate it or you can wait for confirmation. If you anticipate it, you need to understand, depending on where you get in this box, it can push to the highest point or even extend a lot further depending on what the fuck it's doing. Hypothetically speaking, let's say we use Fibonacci, right? And let's just say this is the Fibonacci. The 150% level is right here. So technically, this thing can push up to 150 and then go back down and close. Right. So if you got in this box, you got to be willing to take whatever this experience does. But then if it's up here, it's at a new high again. It can cause buyers to come in again because we're now in the market open. So orders are free flowing right now. So they can push whatever type of how do you say momentum at any high or any low. So we need to see where advantages are and how they use it. So in order to avoid being clapped in those positions, just wait until liquidity, bless you, wait until liquidity is drawn. And by liquidity, we mean, again, 9:30 is when market open is, and that's when new orders can be put in. So this is all the experience that it's touched so far in the market open with new traders. So technically, there's new price above this wick, and there's new price above besides the lowest point, right? So this would be new price to the market. So if it just tags in there and closes under, then technically it was a liquidity grab to traders, right? That are trading from 9:30 and onward. But to us, understanding the sessions, we know the bigger plan, right? We know that either they got the buy entries or the sell entries. So if this is Tokyo's buy or sells entries, and this is London's sells entries, then this is New York sells entries. So they're not going to allow that shit to close any candles up there if they all got sells. So then where do they want to run it to? The news already took it down to this low here, but is that the low that they would run it to? Or is it buys here now? And whatever the fuck that would be. And then you got London, and then you got technically New York. So then is all this area buys? Right? So those are the big questions here. So in order to tell what is what, you're going to need to see the reaction above those two areas. So if all the countries got in here and we liquidate and go down, then cool, we're definitely going for sells. If we go below this area, liquidate and go back up, then we're definitely going for buys. So in order to get the confirmation without anticipating, you need to let it do it first. So let it go down, come back up. Then we can say, oh yeah, that's a U-turn, and then let it blast off.
Okay, yeah, no, that helps. I kind of got the picture before, but now I understand like the mechanics behind it a little better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's all about order filling. So order flow is how computers work. I highly recommend you guys really check out like binary coding. I think it would help a lot. Oh shit, I didn't even notice I'm on the wrong stock on my phone. My bad. But binary coding is really dope. And to be honest, based off of my experience with the market, I believe it operates in a binary code as well. So if you guys can look up videos of that and understand it a little better, or we can watch some videos together in the study session and make it make sense. But I think it'll help a lot with the way you would look at a chart and how it computes correctly.
Yeah, trying to figure out like all-time highs is just really like the fucked up headspace I feel I'm in right now. But I mean, I feel like that's where all manipulation lies at the most, and then the rest of it's just really algorithm. You know what I mean?
Manipulate. Yeah, exactly. Right. So, man, there's a rabbit hole we can go down. If you could write that same thing you just said down, let's revisit it. I can go into that explanation for sure. But
I got you, bro.
this thing definitely shorted both. So I don't want to get any aggressive entries, so I'll wait. But this is the first time we're touching during the market open, right? Here's this low. So we'll probably grab whatever the fuck's down here, give it a little bounce, maybe go for shorts, and then grab the rest to take it down to where we originally had our picture drawn out that I have to make again. Fuck. This is a really small, sneaky order block on the 30-minute that I wanted to look at as a price target. And this is the 1, 2, 3 that I wanted to use in order to get the touch and hold and run.
You should be able to just keep clicking back on the The button next to replay.
Oh, this shit right here, huh? Damn, that's a lot of fucking shit. I hope it has that much memory.
So you don't want to put in like an order right now for that 1, 2, 3 touch.
Nah,
I understand like the cells, why we wouldn't want to do that because they already kind of went for the cells, but you're not putting an order a buy-in order in.
hey, we let no, I hate putting orders in during market open, especially if I'm here visually watching it on the screen, then I'll just wait for it. But during after hours, it's so algorithmic, so it's fine. I don't mind it at all. But during these hours, they do too much, bro. It is extra. So I'll press the button myself. You know what I mean by that? Like they
Yeah, I do. I feel like I don't know. I like to do it that way. I get a good entry and I just put a stop loss in, especially if I'm tapping back and forth.
yeah, likewise. I see what you're saying. I like again, I like
If
just
you're saying it's like because it's volatile as hell and you don't want to like take an unnecessary loss.
exactly because that shit is dog shit. Sometimes they'll over exaggerate a push just to come back up and close. And then you're like, bro, what's all the extra stuff for? And then and it still follows the algorithm anyway. So then you're like, bro, what the fuck? Happens.
All the fucking time.
Yeah, it happens to me way
I'm
too.
definitely got hit by that.
Yeah. So if I'm on Zoom and I'm watching it, I don't mind. I'll just press the button. But if I was chilling before 9:30, they usually don't manipulate that much. So it's fine. I don't mind setting my shit. And it's pretty accurate most of the time. Like today, the accuracy was insane. I'm
Bro,
excited.
I was literally trying to put that order in. Like it wasn't even up there yet. It was like right at the top of the range. And I was trying to put the order in. And I fucking fat fingered 3 times on the wrong price. And the second I hit enter, it filled. I was like, holy shit.
Hey, it's lit though. You still got it.
Yeah, it was close.
Dope. Yeah, for me, I just put order here and I ordered just above this high right here, like the angle. So it barely touched my second set of orders, bro. I was like, damn, it's tough. So I extended this angle a little too far. Leave it. Oh, yeah, no worries. Bikabaku. And that short entry would have been so dope. Sometimes you just be a little bit, you know what I'm saying? That's literally the same entry I got over here. So would have been the same amount of money, another 10 bands. But it's all good. Let's give it time. Let's let it get down there and finagle with our fucking order blocks. And it'd be cool to see that manipulation take place and take us back into the range. But again, we just don't know how deep they push us. And I know there's a lot of stuff on the screen, but I can tell what I'm looking at. So I'm going to do this real quick. Damn. So the negative 50 exists right in the order blocks as well. So this is like really dope. So it might extend past, maybe liquidate negative 50 and hold. If we can get that, I think we could do a U-turn back into the original fib box and then maybe push another all-time high. But I don't know if that's too aggressively bullish. So we'll see what's up when we get there. But for now, I'm just letting it rock. You can see the buildup, right? They're pushing the high without actually liquidating anything there. They're pushing the low without liquidating anything here. So they're building up the engineered liquidity during this manipulation phase. So you'll see towards the end of it, they're going to grab one of them and then they're going to distribute the move they're looking for. So if it's a downside move, that distribution will be here, which means they should have manipulated the highs. So if this is the manipulation from here to here, it should be at 8:30. Yeah. So 8:30 and the New York short, then technically distribution should take it to maybe a 50% retracement of this huge run. Damn, so much shit. Let me do this. Fibonacci. 50 would be here. 18, 9, 13. Appreciate you, my G. 18, 9, 13. Oh, So yeah, this would be the 50%. So then distribution would basically be the rest of that session going all the way down here, assuming the manipulation phase liquidated the highs. Otherwise, if we keep pushing down, liquidate these lows, then distribution will be to the upside and we'll make a new high. So let's see what's good. I'll break down the trade for sure once we're done with this. But the only reason I'm so invested in watching this right now is because we actually have it mapped out. And we've mapped this shit out before London session even started. So the fact that this shit is this accurate is just insane, bro. And we just talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, that's wild, dude. That's like a perfect roadmap for today.
Yeah, it's just insane. I was
It's
just
them
like,
wizard skills, bro.
I'm saying, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Look up how many people trade the NASDAQ. Look up how much money moves in the NASDAQ every day. And you're telling me we're out here just labeling shit and actually seeing it make sense? Like, bro, there's trillions of dollars in this market moving all the time. And I'm just sitting in a fucking little ass Airbnb, like, yeah, bro, short entry here, drop it to the stop losses. Like, come on, bro. Can't make it up.
That institutional brain, bro. I'm telling you, like trying to learn the retail shit. Yeah, it's necessary, but at the same time, like the institutional side of it just completely changed my whole perspective of all this.
Yeah, it does, bro. But yeah, like you said, it's very necessary to understand what retail does because without that understanding, this box right here, bro, this box is where people get clapped, and if you don't understand it, you won't know how to avoid risk for sure.
That's where 90% of traders trade.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, because a lot of people don't have the instrument to trade before the market opens, that 9:30. Which is crazy. We just got done watching this movie, The Big Short, and I know I keep telling you how to watch certain movies, but bro, The Big Short, I watched it again today, and it just re-solidified so much shit. Like, I highly recommend, like, it should be a part of the fucking course curriculum to go watch The Big Short, bro. That shit is immaculate, and you can watch it 3 times and pick up something new each time. Especially if you watch it, come talk about it, watch it again, fucking nuts. And it's a true story. It's not like fictional or anything. It's real shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that later tonight.
You got to. It's gonna sound like fucking gibberish because finances always sounds like what the fuck are they talking about? But if you need to, bro, please pause the movie and look up the financial terms that they're speaking of because there's so much messages in there. And if you like this style of trading, you're gonna love that movie, bro, because they just fucking explain all their secrets in that shit. And I forget that's where I learned it from. So watching it again just brought all that shit back. That's why I made this chart this way, and it was just beautiful. And I even got in a good short and took the trade. Like that shows heat.
Yeah, this institutional shit, bro, is a whole different ball game. Like literally, I was doing some back testing last night with the sessions, and like it was just you could just see it all just play right out, like what the market open would do. And then like I was even going back and looking at the calendar to see like, okay, was there a news at 8:30 this day? Was there news at 9:45?
Yeah,
And you could almost see the anticipation for the news.
yeah, bro. They set it up and then they use the news to their advantage. That's where the manipulation comes from. It's fucking crazy, bro. In The Big Short, they were fuck. Y'all gotta watch the movie, all right? So watch the movie and then we talk about it. For sure. Because there's some shit in there that's just so dope, bro. Well, it's not dope. It's kind of sad that the American economy is this way, but it's cool when you get to see it. But there's this trader in the movie, and he made like I don't know, like $50 million with Chase Bank. Um, and in Chase Bank, obviously there's a lot of manipulation in banking and all this stuff. And he wasn't fucking with it. So he was like, hell no, bro. Like, I made this 50 mil. I quit. I'm done working for y'all. And bro just moves out of the country in Singapore and trades from a little hut in some trees to make a living and stuff. And it's just funny how all traders develop this mindset of the system being so fucked. And all they want to do is just have a farm and live off the land. So they're just tired of paying for stupid shit. That movie be speaking volumes.
We about to buy.
That'd be nice. So we can try to size in, but I don't know if they fucking completely obliterate this beforehand. So I'll get in on some of my phone accounts too real quick. Damn. I think 19044.50 would be like ultimate entry, but I don't know how much they're gonna push it. So if we can't catch the best entry, we can always catch the buys when it's going our way instead of anticipating it while it's pushing down. So there's order blocks all right here, and it just basically tapped the top of it, didn't go into it just yet. So I'd like to see the push into this area. I like to think about it as if like if I set an alert right here, which I did, 19046, I wouldn't even be looking at my computer right now. So until I get that alert, then I would never know, and I guess I'd miss the trade, you know. Ain't no way you ain't feel me though. That's crazy. Durache, papis. All right, for the sake of it, we got 10 bands, so I'll put one on the screen for now. Again, this is anticipation. Wait for it to actually give you the thing, and then you should be able to hold it. Because again, it could go all the way down to the retracement, which is down here at the 50. But we need to see how it treats the order blocks and stuff. So if it doesn't hold our trend line and the order blocks and stuff, then get clapped. What is this line right here? I don't know what I put that line there for. Maybe it's a fib level? No, I don't know what that line's for. Sure. So we're just under the 50 right now. The 100's down at 19,026. So they completely pushed down and closed us out there. So that just quote unquote invalidated that entire chart for the longs. But they also did, like we said, right, manipulate the highs. So distribution could potentially try to be down there, or this is manipulation to get the entries, and then distribution will take place later in the afternoon. So we can see somewhat of a push taking place right now. Don't give all your money away in this spot.
Yeah, with all those order blocks stacked like that, it just looks like it's gonna continue to dig.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely canceled them all out. It has to give us a bullish reaction because of how many orders were in there, but can it hold the trend line, right, and get back into the accumulation range? That's the big question here.
So on that big drop, I mean, we're obviously looking at a 15-minute window here. If we didn't get in the position yet, where would your potential second entry point be at?
Right now, as it's reclaiming the trend line, you would want to see confidence into it. As you see, it's closed and the candle's pushing. It's staying here now. So now you would want to get an entry somewhere in this area under that trend line because you have the opportunity for the longs entry. And as long as your average is here, then you can put your stop loss here and it would limit the amount of risk you have because it's going to aggressively try to fix this picture. This is manipulation.
I got you.
Does that actually make sense, like towards the question?
Yes, sir.
Got you. All right, so cool. We can delete a lot of garbage now that we have this going down. So look how aggressive it's fixing the picture, right? This is what we talk about. Manipulation. They convinced you that all the order blocks are closed. They convince you it's past your trend line, all those good things. So as long as it holds your trend line area here and the order blocks are still technically there on higher time frames and you got your entry, stop loss is good. After manipulation, distribution should take us past the highs and onward, assuming that we have a day of direction.
Should I buy in before it leaves the long up? It's leaving long entries now, or should I wait for it to get below the trend line, like you said?
If you didn't enter already, then you need to, if you want to be safe about it, there's a picture on the 1 minute that needs to be happening, right? So there's an order block here that it more than likely will try to target soon, and it's making order blocks as it's going up. So if you can get your average in 19,051 or close to it, or if you have the money to suffer if it does try to liquidate once again, then I think a good entry would be close to 19,051. Just understand if you buy in the long entry area, just this is your risk parameter. So now we know, like, if this drags on long enough, we need to allow a deeper dig for a retracement. So you saw I bought one contract initially for anticipation, and then I bought another one as it reclaimed the trend line. And now you can see where my average is right there. And with the 50K account, all we need is 1,500 a day. You know what I'm saying? So really good, quote unquote, entry, but now it needs to perform, right? So we're still in the manipulation phase. No real distribution needs to be had. So if they want to liquidate this later before distribution, then they can, right? So we're currently at the 10 a.m. mark, and we have a few hours, 2 hours until lunch. So all they're going to do, take it back in the range, bullshit the range, and then distribution should use some kind of order block from the previous area that it's making currently. And then that should keep us in the trend to get a higher high, assuming we have direction today once again, right? So now that we've spent all this time watching the candles to get our entry, let's let the trade do what it do, and then we can recap the situation here. So we're not watching the candles and make any impulsive decisions based on the situation we have right here. Still got so much time before candles close and all these things. So as long as you get your average between 1905 or 050 and 43, that's kind of where mine is. And I have positions on my phone as well, where I was able to get some bread off of it. I just got that 50K Express account yesterday, and it's currently up pretty nice. So payout coming from that, and then I'll throw some motivation in the chat for it. But okay. So we can go over the trade, how we got this set up, what were conclusions that we're getting, things like that, and then that might give confidence towards the position we're holding right now. So are we good with this right now? Is there any more questions before I erase all of it and redo it again and explain the process?
Bro, I don't know what happened, but Top Step just canceled my order twice. That was already in, it closed it out while it was open.
So like you were in, it was going up in value, and then sold it.
Yeah, no, it pulled them positive, but I was like dragging the stop loss, and it just literally closed out my position.
Oh, did you drag the stop loss close to price, like chasing it, trailing it?
Or I was dragging the take profit up. I was adjusting it, and it didn't even hit the take profit. It didn't even close.
I got you. What I can say is,
it be down to me sometimes too. That's retarded.
It depends on where you let it go, because now the system let's say you drag your finger too fast and you close it here, then technically wherever you let it go, maybe the screen's like 2 frames behind. So you actually dropped it here instead. And so it just sells it for you.
It never. That's so weird, bro. It never even came close to either the original stop loss or where I was taking it. I don't know.
That should be
It's
fucking
fucked.
It is the order though. That's why I don't like putting the shit in, bro. If I'm watching the screen, I'm not about to put this shit in because during manipulation hours, the
No, I clicked. Yeah, I clicked buy market, and it just I had the brackets on there.
got you.
I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, Top Step be doing that shit. That's why recording the Zooms is cool too, because yeah, I'm able to be like, yo, motherfuckers, I got this shit on video. Fix my shit. Now, most of the time they can't do anything about it. They're just like, sorry. Get better Wi-Fi. Oh, bro, fuck you. Fuck you, Tim. Yeah. What a beautiful trade. All right, family. If we ain't got no questions about this stuff, I'm gonna erase it. And then I'm gonna fucking replay the chart at 3, because that is my time for trading. And then let's get into it, right? So the thought process. You want to mark out the sessions, right? Because that's what we trade. 936 sessions. Where the hell is shit at? Okay, there you go. All right, so we got 9 p.m. and then we got 3 a.m., which is here. All right, and then we got the New York 6 a.m. And then there's news at 8:30. News at 8:30, right? So same process we always do. I explained the equation to you guys yesterday. So the equation is 936 plus a stop, right? Variable S. So we don't know what stops exist, which we'll get into in a second. And then we have plus Tokyo sessions, right? Tokyo session, high or low. Tokyo sessions, high or low. That's for a sweep. And then that'll give us the buy or sell signal, right? So this is the equation that is algebraic at the moment. And we need to fill those variables with things as it gives us data, right? So this is the Tokyo high. Tokyo low is technically here, but 8:30 p.m. is like the low because technically Tokyo session starts at 6. So oftentimes if there's one really closer, I would like to use that one instead. But if I did use this one, I would have caught the buy side as London did liquidate this before running, but it's okay. So 8:30. After that, I like to look for the 1, 2, 3 pattern trend line that could exist. So I'll take this one and just extend it. That would be the 1, 2, 3 that I'm expecting, right? And then Tokyo high, is there another trend line up here as well? You have this one and this one. Therefore, this is the trend line I'd be expecting. So those two trend lines create these angles, right? This area. And this area is like this. So all of this area is where I'd have to assume they would use for buys, depending on how far the market drags. And then all of this area, I would assume they would use for shorts, depending on the sweep, right? Liquidity sweep. What is a liquidity sweep? It's when price goes above the level, grabs new price, and then goes right back under the level. So what does London do? London session, 3 o'clock. Let me get rid of this or move it one over. London session goes straight up. It did not get this low from Tokyo. And the first thing in its way is this high. So I'll mark the high since it wants to go up first. Second candle grabs that high. Notice how it just grabs it, shoots under. So I'm like, okay, cool. that's definitely a short entry. If it does it again, I'll go for sells. So notice it pushes up, goes again. I would get in sells right here. And this would be the entry point. And if I got sells here, then I want a take profit at the low because we're technically not in any manipulation phase. Manipulation's over here at 8:30 news. So manipulation starts because of that 8:30. How do you manipulate something? Right? You need an event in order to manipulate something. And that event just so happens to be a red folder at 8:30. So we shouldn't expect any kind of manipulation. We should be expecting them to engineer a situation for manipulation. Right? That means if this is the high, we shouldn't target that yet because news needs to do that. That's how we're going to manipulate. And if this is the low, we shouldn't target that yet because news needs that. That's how we're going to manipulate. So I'll take a short entry here. If we can get right back under here, then I'm good. I think I can hold it. So boom, goes down for the first level. That's really good for me. As long as it stays under this high level, then I should be cool to stay in my shorts. Stays under, right? Test it again, goes straight down to the low, easy trade, right? I think I made like 11 bands off it. So that was a London session trade for myself, but that wasn't a part of this equation, right? So this equation says, what do we have here? There's no order block, only trend line. Here, there's a trend line and there's some order blocks down here. There's like a 30-minute order block and all types of shit. So there's order block down there and a 1, 2, 3. Therefore, the S in this variable for the buy side would look like this. 936 plus trend line plus an order block. That would be the S plus Tokyo low sweep, right? So let's just type that out. So a Tokyo low sweep. If that happens, that equals buys. This is the equation that needs to be filled. This is one option. The other option is for sells. 936 plus the only thing up there is a trend line. So trend line. It's the only stop that we have. Along with the trend line, there's a Tokyo high sweep that we can expect. And that equals sells. Those are two equations that we have for these opportunities based off of this picture that we have right now. So when does it happen? Right? London session never got under Tokyo's low, which is this yellow line. And this is Tokyo's high. The one that it does first is the equation you need to go with. So it did not touch that low. Here we go, right? New York sessions open up, chilling, doing bullshit. And then we get this. It did this prior to 8:30. It's 8:15. So that means the country itself was like, yo, we went all the way above. We swept Tokyo already. They got in and they dropped it under. So do you think they're going to let news fuck their position up? Probably not. So orders go here and then we get in. But for the sake of this shit, I have to buy it at this candle. So I had sells here, and then I also had another set of sells up here because I thought the news would go above and then go below, but they did it prior. So I was like, fuck. That's why I said in the Discord, hey, they're sweeping it at 14 minutes before the news actually comes out. So that means the news technically could have started from this candle and just went straight down if it wanted to. But instead, it reached back a little bit. I'm going to get rid of this line. News comes out, boom. Candle goes up first and straight down to where? This area. What is this area here? I forgot to mention. I did say it's an order block, but this isn't the order block. I used the volume anchor profile and found the zeroed out. Well, it wasn't zeroed out orders, but it was a lot of sell orders. So if I replay this right here, you can probably see it. Come on, bro. I think it's right here. Okay, nice. So look at this order blocks, right? All these orders. Look down here. There's these cells that are protruding out of the bottom. the most sells in comparison to everything under the Tokyo low, right? These are the two spots that's sticking out the most out of the rest. So there's a lot of sell orders there. So if we take that block of a lot of sell orders, what does that mean for the market? That means this is after hours. No one's putting these orders in right now. So those are stop losses from yesterday. And what do they love to do to you? Take your money. So they're going to get in sells and take it straight down to where your money exists. So that's the trade that we wanted, right? So news comes out again. I get back in for this trade. 10 bands easy, right? Goes straight for those stop losses. And then it comes back up. Why does it come back up? It never touched a 1, 2, 3. It never touched an order block, but it touched a bunch of stop losses. What happens to a stop loss? What are you doing? If you're in buys, you're putting sell stops. So they just filled a bunch of orders for themselves. So they need to buy your sells. So they took it down there, bought your shit up, and blasted the market right back to the median point. Now it's manipulation time because 930 is going to come around, and then we'll use market opens liquidity to grab and move again. So notice here's 930 or 915. They take it right back up. 930, touch the same exact level. They use that to get to the order blocks that are down here and the 1, 2, 3 that we had. And after they got that, they're able to push it right back into the accumulation area. And then we'll get distribution later, hypothetically speaking, assuming that we're getting direction to the upside. Does that make sense to you guys? Is there questions involved in this?
Now that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Only thing I was a little wondering on was when you were trading, when you were explaining the your trade during the London session earlier.
Yeah.
When you put in your buy entry or for your sells there, and you were waiting for confirmation to see if it would hold that level. How far would you allow your stop loss into that range that you have on the top? Being that we're at an all-time high and there was no order blocks up there, just you for example, like what would you do in this current market situation right there? Like how deep would you go? Because in theory, like we said, we don't really know based off that picture quite yet if London was going to continue to go up and break the highs or break Tokyo's high.
So right here during London session with
Yeah.
the entry that I got here, like this, how high would I
Yes,
let
sir.
it go? How high would I let it go is what you're asking?
Yeah, like because we don't really have any order blocks or anything in mind up top because we're in new price.
Right.
So like where, you know what I'm saying? Would
Yeah,
you?
so the headspace you're choosing to in the manner of that question is you're assuming that the technicals are what's moving the market. So you would technically think that there should be something up there that would allow price to turn around. When in reality, these sessions don't follow the technicals per se. They use the technicals to their advantage to strategize their positions. So my headspace isn't thinking about what technical exists. It's thinking about how are they going to maneuver around these entry points. So my headspace and the plan of this day was they cannot manipulate anything until news comes out. They always love to set themselves up for news. So if they don't want to liquidate the Tokyo highs, London is going to miss it, meaning it's not going to allow it to touch. So if it does touch, then I should also see a sharp pull down, and then I'm getting that trade easy all the way down here for sure. But if they miss it, then all they're going to do is take it to the nearest low, which is going to be here, because this is also going to do what? They're going to miss the Tokyo low as well. So all they're doing is going to engineer liquidity. So based off of my personal experiences, there's no reason for me to have to risk all of this. I don't want to see them grab Tokyo high at all. And if they do, then I'm just going to double down my position and I'm taking that shit to the low because that is technicals. So if technicals are driving it, I'm still good. And if the sessions are manipulating it, I should be good if they follow through with what I believe, which is miss the Tokyo, save it for news. So you'll see I entered my sell position. I can pull up the Discord and show you everything. But
I saw it. So it was just the anticipation of the news is more or less what got your headspace into that.
yeah, anticipation of news says that all sessions should avoid the engineer liquidity. So they're going to miss, right? So premium and discount exists now. So now that we got a premium, now we got to take it to the nearest discount. Nearest discount is the lowest point where it hasn't been to in its current session. And it has not been down there. So therefore it goes straight down there. And then that's it. Once that premium
Was that like 245 that green candle went up to touch the highs, or like what time frame was that?
This was 4:15 a.m., which is an hour and 50 minutes into London session.
I got you. So would you be setting alerts, like, because obviously you say you don't necessarily sit there and watch the charts the entire time. So if
Right.
you already had Tokyo's data,
Yeah.
what are you doing there? Are you setting alerts at certain levels, or like to know?
I'll show you right now. So Tokyo's high is this point here, and Tokyo's low is technically this point here. So I'll set an alert here and here. And then there's things inside of Tokyo session that London likes to play around. So there's an order block here that exists, and then there's the high. So I will set an alert here, and I'll set an alert here, depending on what's up. But I look at the chart at around 245 and 3. So when I looked at it, it was already in the order block. And I was like, okay, either it's going to reject from here and then we go to Tokyo low. So I'll just set my alert there and go for buys. Otherwise, my alert will be up here at the highs. So now price ended up touching those highs and giving me the alert. And then I was like, all right, cool. Let me watch this. And it was fucking around with me for a good minute and it went down again. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll leave that. And then I'll set my alert one more time above the high they created. And if they grab that, it's going to be very close to Tokyo. So all I'm doing is moving my alert. So once I got the first one, it was like, all right, well, that one's gone and it doesn't look good to me. So I'll leave it again. So now there's a new alert here and this alert still exists down here. So market plays around, eventually gives me the new alert. Again, I look at it, exception is closed. So my all right, it's really close to Tokyo. So I can go for an anticipated entry here. So I go for those sells. And all I'm looking for is it to just go back under and close the candle. If I get that, I'm good. I'm turning my phone off. I'm putting my alert back at break even, and my alert is still down here for this level, and I just let the trade ride. As long as I don't get an alert, then there's no point of looking. I get the alert, boom, down there, 10 bands, cool. And then I get out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the anticipation part is what I was kind of trying to figure out, because like we understand that it was going to slow down prior to Tokyo's high. Weren't sure if it was going to just like try and claim Tokyo's high or just barely touch it.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where my headspace is trying to figure out like where the entry would be at.
Yeah,
for
I'll
that.
tell you like this. This is the best thing that I could say that I know has helped me a lot. Trading can be very accurate, but everything is probability and risk to reward. So this entire area from here to here is Tokyo's high above it. So they can inch above this high as many times as they'd like. So if you're going for shorts, the better the entry, the better the stop loss. So if you got in here for shorts, let's see if I can get the replay to actually do it. Because this shit goes really fast. Okay, that didn't work. What can I put it at? I'll grab this one right here. Cells. Okay, so oh no, you're going too fast. So if you got your entry here at the sell point, and you know Tokyo's high is here, and you have idea that they're gonna skip it, how much money is that? Right? Let's say I can only lose $3,000. So then maybe I need to size down. Let's go to 5. Cool. $1,500. I can give myself $3,000 worth of room. Cool. So now I can ask myself, put an alert back above this high if I'm in with an anticipation. And if it goes up there again, I can either average or get out. Goes back up. $3,000 losses here. Maybe this candle closes up there and you don't know yet. But then the next candle comes. Confirmation. Now you didn't need anticipation. So now you're just like, okay, cool. Confirmation. Nice job. Let's add to that position. And obviously fix your stop loss, right? Because technically it should not go above this high anymore. And now you can allow the trade to do what it needs to do, right? And that required no type of anticipation. And all you did was say, I'm comfortable with losing this amount of money and it gives me this much room. So if it decides to use Tokyo's high, how high can it go? Maybe the trend line. So as long as I can size to give me enough room for that, the parameters of the trade should hold and it should still give me the execution that I'm looking for. Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah. So that's the part of being a trader where it's like you can know as much as you'd like, right? Technicals, all these fancy things, but all it boils down to is how much money is it from here to here? And am I willing to lose that or not? And is it worth the amount of reward I'm going to experience? And if that's okay, then size your position down to allow yourself to be okay with whatever loss that's going to be. So if you don't like losing $500, cool. That's a $500 risk trade. So how much is that? What's the risk to reward ratio here? So for example, one contract, $500 loss, give you this much room. So now you don't even have to be good at technicals or have perfect entries, right? You just know that if it touches this area first before this area, then it needs to go down. You just don't know how high it's going to go. So if that's the case, just let it do what it do. So yeah, even regardless of all this stuff here, it never liquidated you and you're still able to stay in for the entire trade.
Bro, that exact scenario, the bad version just happened to me on that buys on my 150K account. I sized in with you just one contract,
yeah.
and I was trying to do both Top Step and Trading View at the same time. And once it was like well below the trend line, I hit buy +9 on my 150, and it cashed me out so fast.
Oh, like yeah, so like being liquidated from the amount of size that you had into the trade.
Yeah, well, I had one and then I went +9 and it pushed. I don't know if I got on a drawback or what, but that like right at the bottom, it stopped me out.
I see. Yeah.
My other accounts are good though. It's just my 150 because I went too high a contract size, like you're saying. I should have went like 5 or something.
Facts. Yeah, bro. It's all about, cause especially during market hours, a lot of more manipulation happens. But nonetheless, like you said, right? If you size in too much, then you can't even stomach a pullback, and now you have to miss the trade. You know, when technically you could have bought in more at any given time. So if you have a mindset of scarcity, you're going to think that this is your last opportunity to ever get in. When in reality, this trade, we're expecting it to go from liquidation to the highs. So you technically have all this room to get in. You just need to wait till it sets up more advantageously for you to add more risk to your trade. So if you're getting in here with an entry that you don't think is perfect, then at least size down the contracts and give yourself more room that if it does need to finagle here, it's okay. You're not going to lose your fucking marbles over $500 or $1,000 wiggle room. And then you can add more as the trade continues to go your way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty. That's what I did on my other accounts. I like kind of like aimed for new entry points that were down kind of low when it dropped down, and I ended up getting in and maxing out my profits on those ones. But
gotcha.
Size is definitely important. Don't let her tell you anything else.
Size matters. Yeah, that's true. So Jesse, does that break down the trade? And
yeah, 100%. I think for me, my biggest thing is trying to understand with it being at an all-time high, not really having that data to know, okay, if we were in downtrending market or we had previous like candles above, I could identify an order block, and I use those kind of as like my my risk to reward ratio to say, okay, if it's going to keep digging, then I'm going to know it's going for this order block, so I just got to cut at this point. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So that's kind of how I set my stop losses.
I hear that. When I hear you describe it, it just sounds to me like it's uncertainty, the fear of uncertainty. So I think I do that a lot as well. And I miss a lot of money because I'm like, fuck, all-time high. I have no idea how high this thing's gonna go. So for me, there's a lot of back testing behind the 123 order block 936 fiasco that we just had. So like with that confidence, technically if it broke this high, it could have just fucking started gapping, you know. But as long as you size correctly, once again, if it did start gapping, fuck, that's a risk you gotta get out. Like it shouldn't blast off for no reason at all, right? That usually has to do with 830. So all of this was like prior to 830, and then this in itself news is pretty wild. So I don't blame you if you were trading at 8:30 and feeling that way for sure. I 100% agree. If that shit started fucking moving and we're at all-time high, absolutely. I'm scared as well. I'm like, fuck that shit. But um based off of all the things following the rules and the news actually doing the thing that it did without any aggression, it just allowed me to be more comfortable understanding that, hey, that manipulation is going to take place, but as long as it does what it does, then size in accordingly to allow you to stay in the trade, you know. And in that manner, all-time high doesn't have to exist in the brain. Just trade what's in front of you right now, you know, because this is what's giving you the data.
Yeah, but trading what's in front of me at the moment, not knowing what data to have, is just like, oh fuck.
No, that's facts. I agree. That's why I try to, you know, leave my charts in there to give us the guidelines to follow. Because if I'm not going to consider the all-time high, then why should we all be in that same headspace? If the setup is there, then all we can do is take it. And if it starts to go our way, cool. If it doesn't, then we're going to have to take whatever that costs, you know?
Yeah, I know it's not common like for 2 days for the market to just continue to run like that, but like yesterday, it just
Right.
fucking ran all day. Didn't really have a level in mind that I
Right.
could see. So it's like those extension levels on the fib scale. It's like anything above the 50 for me is just, I don't know, it's a little too risky.
Fact.
Um, at this moment because I don't have enough like capital accumulated.
I understand.
So that's why I kind of try to play in between the parameters of like the 100 to the zero levels.
So you're a
When it starts to
retracement trader. So basically, you're classifying yourself as a retracement trader, which is dope because if that's who you are and what you're subscribing to, then you know your market conditions. Therefore, if this doesn't fit those market conditions, then you're right. You shouldn't trade at all. You should leave it alone and it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? You need to go about the days and let it ride. But the moment you see your setup again, you know, hey, bro, the shit dropped 1, 2, 3. It's at the zero, the fib. Take it to the 50. That trade is gonna pay your bills, bro. And you have 365 days in the year to find as many setups as you need in order to take that trade. And if you take those trades and make money, and then you come here and lose all of it, then what was the point of even being a retracement trader? Right. So stick to your conditions, stick to your setup. And I think that is 100% fair to say. You do not have to compete with whoever else is also making money in their particular market conditions. It's okay to try to be a master of all of them, but you're going to need to segment the brain a little bit. So if you're currently experiencing the ideology of anything above the 50 being anxiety driven, it's just not your market conditions. You must not have practiced that style of trading yet. And you're personally adding more confidence to the retracement style. So that is fine. Everything takes time for phases and growth. So allow yourself to grow in that type of phase and ideology. Maybe the market conditions right now were very, very bullish, but your retracement will come regardless. It's inevitable. So when it does, you'll be prepared for it. You're going to make a lot of money and it might equate to the amount of money you would have made in fucking bullish market in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So no rush for sure.
Yeah, the retracement, I definitely subscribe to that, but what I meant by that statement earlier is just like I kind of try to play the parameters of the 100 to the zero levels because anything above the 150 and let or I guess below, unless there's an order block in mind, then that gives me more confidence to know, okay, it broke this zero. What's it reaching for? The negative 50. There's an order block there. You know, I can when I can see those type of situations, but when we're in all time highs and it's just reaching, I don't, you know, that's where I feel those market conditions kind of like fuck with my head.
I understand. Yeah, there's no data for sure. Oh yeah, that's the point that we were supposed to talk about too. Where there's no data, how do you determine things? So there's a cycle of mind that I like to put myself through often. But right now we got our really nice entry, right? Followed the entire plan of the day, which is dope. And we got the manipulation that took place, and we're currently moving towards the distribution phase, right? So manipulation took place here. You can see this is manipulation outside of the range parameters, right? So if this is the range, then that is manipulation. My eyeballs. All right, we'll just leave it red, right? So if this is the range, that engineered the liquidity. And notice, look, we manipulated the top, right? Because this is traps, right? We talked about this before. Traders see a level, they take the buys, it goes up, they set the stop losses, they stop them out below the range. After that, they go ahead and give them one more go, creates more liquidity below the range. Then you can see here, one nice big drop. Anyone who tried to hop in and be like, oh yeah, this market's fucking dumping, got cleaned up right here where all the order blocks were, the stop losses were, the 1, 2, 3 was. So a lot of confluence there. So getting the entries on that, seeing it back into the range shows manipulation has already taken place. So what's the next phase after accumulation? Manipulation, right? We got distribution. So now the move that has already been engineered and manipulated now needs to distribute what it manipulated. So here's the range and distribution. So distribution can be maybe Fibonacci levels, right? There could be some extensions that would take us to the promised land. So that might look like, let's take some of the shits off. So these are our extension levels. So distribution should get us to the 150, the 200, 250, 300, right? We don't know in what manner and what time frame and how, but we know damn well that it needs to at least get above wherever it got manipulated from, which is right here. So I think the 150 is like the safest quote unquote target for this trade, assuming that we get direction today. Otherwise, this manipulation will just cause a premium drop, meaning it goes to the 150, then they close that, and then they also drop it back, which will leave that trade for 2 p.m. or even tomorrow at 8:30 news once again, right? So does this stuff make sense? Is it clear? Is it like game changing? And does it make you feel like this is something that you can achieve eventually when you understand? Or did you already see it and understand it from the pictures that we put in the Discord earlier today?
I got a question, bro. Do you always map out the distribution manipulation and then, like those phases right there, while you're trading, or is it just like a certain scenarios wherever you start implementing those?
Certain scenarios, but before yesterday, when I was teaching my sister and I was explaining it to her, I didn't realize that that is what my brain always computes. So I never translated that. So when I had to describe it to her, she was like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you just say that shit in the first place? Like I could have been thinking about it like that." And I was like, "Damn, that's a good point." So I don't usually do this on the chart, but this is allowing me to visually show you how I think about it. And this ideology can only happen when you identify accumulation. This doesn't happen every day, but it happens a lot. So whenever you see accumulation, there's probably manipulation and then distribution following suit. So words mean things, right? So can you, since you asked the question, right? Can we get the definition of accumulation?
I would say similar to consolidation, like,
Oh, you can look it up for sure. Like I like to get
okay.
actual dictionary
All
definition,
right.
and
Yeah,
then
I got you.
got you.
You said accumulation?
Yeah, accumulation.
It's kind of funny because before you drew that, my brain was kind of thinking like that in that manner with the manipulation at market and with the news and all that stuff. But I guess I never quite drew it out like that. But my brain was kind of thinking in that same manner.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. My brain did the same, but I realized teaching my sister, bro, we have different brains. So I gotta like fix it, I guess.
So the definition is the acquisition or gradual gathering of something.
Nice. Okay. So acquisition or gradual gathering. Gradual, right? Let's get the definition of gradual, please. So put this shit up. Okay. So we said the definition of accumulation, right? Acquisition or gradually gathering something. And then, right, again, words mean things. So for me, like the definition of gradual, right? We all have an assumption of what all words mean because we went to school, we use it in conversation, but depending on where you're from and how you use it and what terminology and category or subject, some of these words have an assumption definition, right? So in finances, it's super funny that they use the actual definitions in conjunction with a lot of other words that have similar definitions to make some really complex fucking word, right? So accumulation, right, is a phase that we like to understand. And accumulation is described as gradual. Gradual is taking place or progressing slowly or by degrees. It literally says progressing slowly. So if this is an accumulation phase, the definition of accumulating is to gradually gather. So they're telling you it's a slow pace gathering, right? So in the market conditions, all you're looking for is where is it really slow? And how do you determine what slow is in our markets, right? We like to look at the candle sizes. When are the candles the smallest? It's not during 9:30. I can tell you that because 9:30 is when everyone can trade. Candles are smallest when not everyone can trade, when the volume is low. So the 936 strategy is an accumulation strategy. So the 936 is always going to be your accumulation. And then when you have your accumulation, let's look at this. I bet you this is fucking, I didn't even look at the time. Yeah, look, 9 p.m. 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Accumulation, right? What the hell did they accumulate? They're accumulating money. They're engineering stops, right? They're creating liquidity. So in that manner, who, what, where, how, and when. So who is the sessions? Here is 9:30 and 3, London, right? Tokyo high, highest point of Tokyo session. Tokyo low, lowest point of Tokyo session. What did we do here? London opens straight for Tokyo's low. If they grab, that's a liquidity sweep. Is there an order block there? Is there a 1, 2, 3 there? Right. Let's just put the 1, 2, 3 for the sake of it. So boom, 1, 2, 3, liquidity sweep, entry, take it to Tokyo's high. Easy trade, right? Can we see that? It's there, it's obvious, and it follows the rules. 6 a.m.'s coming. We're still accumulating. New York still has to accumulate somewhere. What does 6 a.m. go for? Here's a London low, right? London low. Does it liquidate and go back up? Holy shit, it does. It grabs just before the low, goes right before the Tokyo high. So this is called accumulation. Now, after accumulation, the most volume comes in from 8:30 news and onward from 9:30, right? All the way to lunchtime, which is 12. This would be the peak time frame for manipulation. But what are they going to manipulate? They're going to manipulate the accumulation. So that means above. So it'll grab from above or below first. And depending on that manipulation, distribution will go in the opposing direction. So here's accumulation. Grabs, still holds above the level before the manipulation phase. So that's New York's greatest entry, right? So if you went for the buys after this, it should just go to the highs. If it can do that before the manipulation, that'd be great. Cool. Goes to the highs, get out of that trade. Boom. What time is this? No way. 8:30. 8:30 starts your manipulation. What does it manipulate to? Order blocks, maybe, right? This is what Jesse was talking about. If there's something to reference, then you can see the manipulation. But if there's not, then it's a little harder. But here, you can see the manipulation. Why does 8:30 run straight to an order block? You don't think that's to fuel the move that they actually want before the market opens? So here we are, we hang out, manipulate back to the accumulation area. We're back in the range, right? Back in the range. What happened at 9:30? This is 9:30's candles. Straight manipulation around that 8:30 area for 9:30. And then right after that, distribution comes into play and then gives you that move. Right. So when we talk about the reason we're even talking about this in the first place, John had asked, yo, are you always looking at this accumulation, manipulation, distribution anytime you look for like a trade? It's just a mindset that happens based off of the analysis of the trend and how the 936 had accumulated. Sometimes a 936 does not give you an accumulation. So then you can't use this ideology. So only when you have that set up correctly, you'll be able to identify where manipulation is. And if they liquidate manipulation, it's usually going to go out the other side, which is what we simplified and turned it into premium and discount U-turn, right? So premium discount U-turn means you have the premium and discount that's displayed. You can identify premium and discount how? Whenever price goes just above a high, turns around, and then it goes just below a low and turns around. That's how you know where premium and discount exists. So now all you're doing is waiting for price to go above it and then back under, or below it and back up. That's the U-turn. So you'll see price pushes above it. This is technically the premium discount high. It does the U-turn right here, go for the fucking sells. And then the shit usually blasts all the way down. And then you can use your Fibonacci levels to take it to the -5 and the 100. So size off -0.5 and -1. And those would be your two price targets from the initial range entry. And that's usually a pretty decent chunk of change. Does that make sense? So that's where the U-turn premium discount comes from the accumulation, manipulation, distribution ideology. But we made it very simple in that manner.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense, bro. Yeah.
This concept's definitely like more like in depth and complex. So I feel like I'm like to be comfortable with it, I just like see it at least a couple more times, but it's starting to click.
Oh, yeah, bro. That's the point. As long as we drill it into the brain and can apply yeah, what's up, bro? Got your hand up.
Yeah.
What's up?
I have one question about the low that you made. So I
Um,
think that low right there, that one's what, 8:30?
yeah, 8:30.
Okay. And then so I guess the only thing I'm not understanding is why when we see London take Tokyo's low, we made two lows for that.
Yeah, so here's 3 a.m. Here's your session time frame 9. So like I said before, I usually like to grab the 8:30 low if it's close to the 9. But since there's a low of the session around whatever fucking time this is, 11, and then we have the high of 11:30 here. Noticing London actually using it and coming back up, then that would just be the low of the session that I would use first. And then you can see, since there is, like you said, 2, this is the lowest low. Regardless of if it was Tokyo or not, it's very close to where Tokyo's low would be. So New York just went for the most advantageous entry. So that didn't happen until manipulation started, which is past 6 o'clock. So you'll see 6 o'clock comes in, right? Liquidates the Tokyo low as we know it, and then still does the thing, but it reaches for the lowest low that was there. So every 936 is going to give you, different highs, different lows. This just so happened to be the lowest low of the entire trend. So they decided to liquidate the lowest low. So personally, like I said, if the 9 o'clock candle has a 8:30 low there, then I would rather use that. And then you'll get entries like this, but you'll miss the London entry. And that exact thing happened to me today. I missed the London entry for this because I didn't mark the nearest Tokyo low.
Okay, gotcha.
Here, let me show you what I mean. So if you remember that picture right there, this is today. And here's,
You said Tokyo session starts at 6 p.m.
yeah, it starts at 6.
Okay, yeah. When you were doing that megaphone thing earlier, I saw you use your trend line off the 6 o'clock candles. I was a
Yeah.
little like, I didn't know that before.
No, I'm not worried about the session. I'm just worried about the picture. So these two line up together. This shit could have been at fucking 4. It doesn't matter. It's just what's the trajectory of the trend lines that you have that are capable. So these exist there. Maybe these exist here, things like that. But which one is more aggressive, more advantageous towards what you're looking for? Because technically, there's a lot, right? There's even these two here that could have given you a pretty good entry. So it's all about what trajectory serves you best. I personally chose this one because it had an angle that went into the order blocks that were on the 30-minute. There's like a really small order block right here. And the angle from this to this maps out perfectly if they went down for that order block, exercise it, and then go back up. And if you look at the 1 hour as well, there's a big order block there too. Here. So with those being said right there, the longer the time horizon is, meaning the further the consolidation takes place, the further they're going to push for one of these trend lines. So sometimes the ones that are too close are just too aggressive. But like we said earlier, for the London, for Tokyo low, right? There's two, hypothetically, from what we just described. So the lowest low is right here at 230. And you can see London went down and grabbed that, but I didn't have that low. I took the 830 low, and you can see New York grabbed that instead. So depending on which one you would have picked, you could have technically caught London's trade, but it just tapped it so easily at 530. So I didn't even think about it. I just got out from here just in case they did try to use that low. But ultimately, what's up?
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done talking. So you were like using like the pretty much like the premium discount ideology here with
Yep.
the highs and the lows, like during the accumulation.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So that's exactly what we're supposed to anticipate if we are assuming that we're accumulating, because accumulation requires us to stay in the same area. So that means technically the market is not allowed to break out. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw your trade this morning, but I was driving, so I didn't really get a chance to talk to you about it or like try it. But like at the top when you went into your cells, and I know you talked about this a little bit earlier, but you went into cells like below the highest points. So how did you? I think you answered this earlier, but how did you pick those?
Yeah, it's just a high. So you guys know about support and resistance, right? We talked about that as like a retail ideology. So support and resistance would play a part, right? So as you can see, price action and candles tell you things. Look at the way it treats this level right here. The first candle that went in, touched it, went straight down. So therefore, there's something here that is causing resistance. There's no order blocks or anything, so it's got to be the high. Touches it once, pushes down, does not get a new low at all. So technically, there's nothing that it pushed down to give it enough energy to blast through something that is resisting against it. So here we are again, pushing up again, went right back down. It gave you two signals saying, yo, this shit is strong and we can't seem to get above it. And there's no order blocks to help us. So in order to get above that, we need new price. New price is down here. So therefore, the next time it pushes up here, I just want to get an entry. Right. So boom, it ends up pushing and actually closing. So I was like, cool, this shut down last time, shut down the other time, got some acceptance towards it. Here's Tokyo's high. If we miss it, then we should go right back under this level. If it does, I can get into cells. It just so happened to go straight back down again. Failure, failure, failure. I can risk this. I'm okay with this risk. If I get in here and it goes to Tokyo's high, whatever, I'm going to lose this much money and then I'll make this much money. And then I can allow that resistance to play its part. As long as it keeps failing that particular price level, I'm going to take it down to where it needs to go, premium and discount ideology.
If it closed back above that level, though, you would get out. Like you just cut your losses.
Yeah. Or again, you stick to your risk parameter. So you know where Tokyo high is. It's right here. And you know where this high is. It's right here. So this is an entire zone. So if your stop loss exists up there and it just reaches for you and then drops, then that was your ideology of risking it. And you anticipated that it would drop prior to actually getting the level. So as long as you can get in here and stomach whatever kind of liquidation is going to come prior, then that should be fine. So that goes back into the sizing aspect. So for every one contract, if I were to put this above, let's say this is Tokyo's high, technically it would need to touch that and then drop. But because of news, they would save it, all that stuff. Let's say you risk $500 per contract. How many contracts could you potentially risk then? You know, so 50K account says $1,000 if you're making this your one trade for the day. So that would be your $1,000. And then your take profit would need to be worth it as well. So this is a 1-to-1. I'm risking 1 to make technically 1.3. So now if it does liquidate New York, cool. If it doesn't, it's back under here. Now I can ask myself, as long as it stays under this line right here, then I should be chilling and maybe size in more the next time it tries to fail. So it came back up, like you said, right? It doesn't close above, but it keeps testing and failing. So here, like, bro, add more. You know what I mean? And allow the trade to do what it's supposed to do.
Thanks for explaining that.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. What's up, bro?
On a day like this where we're noticing accumulation and we know we have news. So that's why for a trade like that, we're expecting it to want to protect like the
Yes.
those above areas and the below areas until news comes and takes it for the manipulation.
Exactly. Hell yeah. That is exactly how you should think.
On a day where there is on a day where there's no news and we're seeing accumulation, would we treat it the same way or
No, there's no news. So you would have to treat it as whatever touches first. So you wouldn't assume that it would be protected, but in the chance that it, let's say, make clear this. So if this is your accumulation range, hypothetically speaking, you just need to know where the liquidity pools are. So usually algorithm's going to do what it's going to do. If there's no telltale of an order block or what's it called? A fucking trend line, then you want to assume that if there's no volume, then it's going to have to react to price. So hypothetically speaking, if there's no news, no manipulation, then we're looking for a sweep. So if there's a sweep of a low like this, and there's no manipulation to protect it, then you need other confluences to help you say, okay, cool, this is a good trade. So you're not just going to look at this level and be like, oh, it doesn't want to keep that level, right? Because you don't know that. There's no confluences to help you say that. So if you can understand the accumulation phase and you know there's no manipulation at 8:30, then what's the next manipulation? That would be the next time volume should come in. So that would be 9:30. So then you would treat 9:30 the way the 8:30 is treated. So if after hours did not touch any of those liquidity level areas, then you're going to wait for 9:30 to do it. And if 9:30 volume doesn't do it, then you're going to see the consolidation and indecision. And then there's really no manipulation until whenever that happens. So like no news Mondays, that's why we skip them, because no news Mondays are fucking range bound as fuck. And then maybe there's not news until Thursday. So that means Monday spent accumulating. Tuesday is spent creating or engineering liquidity, right? So they use that accumulation, do the premium and discount. Wednesday could potentially be used to set up for the manipulation. And then Thursday we'll use it. So you can see here, Wednesday, all this shit happened on fucking Wednesday. And there was nothing on Wednesday. all of that. So if they expected news to dump the market, all they did was use Wednesday to take it all the way up here. So that way, when the news does come out, if it did decide to go down, it would have to deal with all of this first before it could actually fuck up whatever they had going on prior. So do you really think that they're going to allow the news to just obliterate everything from Wednesday? If they did, that's fine. They probably already got out and will just liquidate everyone that's down here in the first place. So news will just come down, sweep it, and then they'll just run it back up again. So there's a lot of plays in the books, but if you can think of it in a chess game manner, they're always trying to find liquidity, which means they're always trying to give you a picture and then fuck it up for you. So that's where manipulation comes in. So if you can identify where they're accumulating, then understand there's probably a plan that they're mapping out right now. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So easy bank. I hope all this stuff is like clicking and not adding more to the confusion, because these things that I'm describing to you right now, they're just strategic ways of thinking and philosophy. They're not defined rules, because every picture is going to look very different. So the thing that you should actually be writing down and taking note of is not the if it swept this or swept that. It's the questions that you need to ask yourself when you're presented with the things. So if you're presented with accumulation, you need to ask yourself, where will manipulation occur? Is there news? If there's no news, then there might not be manipulation. So this is about the drag. So if it's going to drag, do you have an edge in the drag? If you don't, what is an edge? First of all, an edge is something that gives you confidence, right? And maybe that's like, oh, there's a 1, 2, 3 in order block. Cool. You don't need manipulation for that. You know that 1, 2, 3 is good, and you know the order block's good. So no manipulation required. It's gonna go out of it, go in, go back up, right? So that being said, the questions is what you need to ask yourself. If there's no manipulation, and if you're that kind of trader for a 936 accumulation, manipulation, distribution, ideology, then those are the questions you need to answer. And if you get the answer of there is no manipulation, then there is no trade for you. You got to go. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that being said, if you focus too much on the intricacies of today's low, today's high, order block, short, right? These things are all strategic advantages that you can use based off the technicals we have. But the only reason I'm able to use it is because I know the right questions to ask myself when these things are presented, right? So if you can design that same framework in your mind, you're going to be able to be presented with this picture and ask yourself, hey man, what are we looking at right now? What is the trade that we're anticipating today, and how can we stick to that picture? What do we need to see? And a lot of that just comes from doing this, right? That repetition, that back testing, things like that. Making sense. See what we can fit our plays into bigger picture. Definitely a lot to take in at once. Got you. Back testing. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It is a lot to take in at once. It's something I've accumulated over a long period of time and with a lot of different materials. Like I said, movies really dope, and a lot of my personal market experiences are really crazy. So I think if you want to see real manipulation and all types of different ways financial fucking institutions love to fuck me over, we can go back and look at all my trades that weren't on futures, because I didn't learn all this shit on futures. Futures allows me to be involved in what they did to me all the time that I had no idea of. So I got clapped forever. And then after that, I got here and I was like, holy shit, they've been fucking us up the whole time. And I didn't even have this data to realize it. And ever since I got it, it's like, shit, I see what y'all doing. It's chess. You know what I'm saying? So now I just don't miss. Um, so that being said, there's still a lot for us to learn. And yes, it is hard to take in at once, but I think if you surround yourself more with the philosophies of this style of trading, it's not a lot at once. It's more about the connections that you can make as an individual person and the way your mind works. Because my mind has just gotten me here through life experience and time. And yours, you've been through a lot of things. But when you start to learn things, you can go back and look at your previous situations in that same manner. When's the last time you went to go get a car loan and seen them run your credit 4 or 5 times just to lower your score and give you a higher interest rate? Or did you have no idea they did that to you? You know what I'm saying? Because when you learn these things, then you can go back and you can see it and you're like, holy shit. And then the next person that you're going to meet is probably going to go through it and they have no idea. And it's just something that exists in the system that trickles down all the way into why this market moves the way it does.
So prior to you getting in futures, were you just trying to trade like individual stocks and not understanding the Nasdaq market in general? So like for example, you're trading like one individual stock and then like the whole market just fucks you. Is that what you're referencing?
Hell no. um, I had no idea what the NASDAQ was. I had no idea that there were other instruments of trading. I didn't even know what instruments meant. Um, there's before my initial introduction to the stock market was, believe it or not, crypto. Back in 2016, 2015, Bitcoin. And bro, if I even put a fucking dollar into that shit, I wouldn't even be here, bro. But I learned about Bitcoin, saw it, was like, oh shit, some kid made a fuck ton of money off of it. And I was like, yeah, I can do something similar. The one thing I noticed about Bitcoin was it was literally less than a fucking penny. It was a fraction of a penny. And then the shit went up to $1, and bro's a fucking 10 millionaire or some shit. And he's not even 18 years old. Um, and yeah, he made that much money just off of something moving from fraction of a penny to basically a penny. Um, so I was like, okay, cool. Let me recreate that. So I found out what OTC was. It's called over the counter stocks. And these OTC stocks, they are as pennies. And you can do this right now, technically. I just don't recommend it because it's actual gambling. Um, but yeah, OTC, small stocks. So when I was young, I used to go to Burger King, work, take my little $600, buy some fucking pennies on the fucking dime of these stocks, and I would just basically pray to see if this thing can go from a fraction to at least a penny, maybe two, maybe three pennies. So there was so many stocks. I'll give you a fucking list of them. You can go back, check the dates and everything. It's insane. But yeah, I caught one. There's stock, so RTX and MVIS, which is Microvision. Most of these stocks were pennies, bro, and I just caught good wind of it with $600, turned it into 20 bands, and that was my first realization the stock market exists and all these things, and I was like, holy fuck. So once I got that, it was
That's
OT.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was strange, but it was lit because the way everything went, I guess it was just supposed to happen, bro. But yeah, I got too in my head, and then I pulled a loan out thinking, oh, if I did that with 600, imagine what I can do with $40,000. Got clapped and went to a new instrument. So I started options trading. Options trading is another instrument that gives you a chance to buy small contracts for like $10, $20, $100. And then you can make like a 1 to 20 ratio. So for every $100 I exist, I can make 2,000. Right. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do this shit. So it was the same thing as penny stocks. I would just need to find a stock that was good enough to do it. So options, I put in $800, made $300 or $300,000, sorry, for my first time in 2021. And then that just proved the same thing happened, but on two different instruments. I just made crazy gains on penny stocks and on options. So the same thing kind of fits in futures. All I'm doing is looking for the lowest discount that I can find. How can I get this thing for a fucking penny for a move that's supposed to move like, a whole dollar? And if I can get that entry, I'm cool. That's a lot of room for margin. So that's the way my brain has been thinking for the longest time, and I had no idea. So with that being said, like the movies and the grooming of the way credit treated me and all these things, it was just ingrained in me based off of life experiences, me always getting fucking clapped by interest rates, small fees that add up to a compounding interest that us as human beings don't take in accountability every day. Every fucking day you wake up and you go drink a fucking glass of water, that shit costs money. And you do that for 30 days, you got a water bill. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, the compound interest passes up every consumer's brain. You get a coffee every day, costs you money. Where you get it from is going to cost you a premium, and convenience is the fucking way of the land right now. That is the world we live in. We live in the land of convenience. How can you pay someone to do something for you? Someone fucking pumps your gas. Someone makes your food when you go to a restaurant. Someone makes your coffee, right? These are all things that just help you go to work for longer periods of time and have a little bit of more convenience because you're so tired and broke off that you need people to do it for you. So you're paying the price. And that's what the world revolves around, the convenience of business. So compounding interest is insane. And that is what we're doing every fucking day. We're watching this market compound on itself with an algorithm. And you're doing the same thing every day when you're paying bills and making money as well. But if you don't view it like that, then you won't be able to have that mind to learn from it. So with everything that we're learning here, the same thing happens in your life. There is accumulation at times where you're just racking up money. You have a savings and manipulation comes around. What's that? Oh, fuck, my tire popped. Oh, this guy got in a car crash. Oh, fucking grandpa dies. Now manipulation says bank account needs to fucking get emptied. Now that they liquidated your bank account, it's distribution time. Opportunities are going to come through. Oh, there's a house down the street. Looks like a great opportunity. But guess what? Grandpa died. You got manipulated. Bank account's empty. You can't even take the investment. Time to go back to accumulating again. That's the matrix system, bro. And they've been doing it on everything. So if you don't view it that way, then of course you won't be able to learn it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure. Bunch of fucking sheep is what they try to make us into.
Yeah, bro. They make you feel bad for, I don't know, not showing up to the dead guy's funeral when in reality, the motherfucker's dead. He's not about to say shit. You know what I'm saying? He's gone, bro. Unfortunately, I have a lot of boys who killed themselves at a very young age from the military. My grandfather's gone. My grandma's gone. You know what I'm saying? My mom, my dad are getting older and will inevitably be gone. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of funerals that I had to go to. And every time I go there, it's just a bunch of people that I've never even seen before crying for this guy that I've spent my whole life with. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on here, bro? Where'd y'all even come from? You know what I'm saying? But so be it. But I'd be the bad guy if I didn't show up. But it's still gonna cost me fucking $5,000 to buy a plane ticket next weekend because this guy didn't plan his death a little better. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like shit to the average person, but in reality, when we're talking about the sheep and matrix ideology, this shit is supposed to happen. That's why these flights day of are more sentimental because you're not buying a day of flight because you planned a trip. You're buying it because something happened. So that shit's about to be premium as fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very interesting way to look at it. Well, I guess I kind of have took that perspective, but never looked at it in that perspective.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, the world gets real ugly.
Referring to the premium and discount as far as like on the supply, on the demand type of thing.
Yeah, bro, it exists everywhere. That's again, if you live in a land of convenience and urgency, and those things are the most expensive thing you'll ever experience. That's why the people that are in blue collar work hard for everything they have. And most of the time, you're building your own shit rather than paying someone else to do it. Because if you ain't got the money to do it, then who's going to do it for you? The man who puts in the work to create the shit. And that's why we get the most respect half of the time. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like, damn, you really built that desk, bro. I don't even got time to do that. I just went in debt for one the other day. I bought it on a credit card, you know? Like, come on, bro. Why are you filling up?
That was kind of the headspace I went into as far as the automotive industry. Was like when I was younger in my family, the household that we grew up in, if something broke, you gotta fix it yourself, dude. You know what I mean? Like we ain't got money to go pay a fucking shop to go pay thousands of dollars to fix a car. And got a car my senior year and got into a car accident, and then I had to fix that shit all myself.
Yeah,
And
bro.
it just kind of shifted my whole mindset.
Mhm. I agree. Yeah, once you understand that you're capable, then you kind of detach from the system a little bit and realize like some people pay for some really stupid shit. And then you're like, yo, you don't even make enough money to be paying for that, to be honest. If we like think about it in that manner, but everyone has feelings and you're going to feel like it's worth it, right? Worth it. Look up definition of worth it, bro. I'm telling you, words mean things. Worth it is not something that actually computes to the math that says, oh, yep, it's worth it, right? Because that would be an investment, right? If you just feel like it's worth it, then it's because it makes you feel like it's worth it. And that's okay because it's a feeling, right? And most people are okay with their feelings and will pay those prices. But when you go to another man and tell him it's worth it, he's like, hell no, I know how to fucking change my own oil. What the fuck? That's not worth it. I'm not about to pay $50 for him to just unplug it and pour a new one in there. Get the fuck out of it, right? Is different. Worth is different for everyone. So that's why this premium discount shit is crazy because every low is for someone to take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So if Pops never taught you how to change your tires, then guess who's going to make $1 off of you? you know.
Very good Zoom session. I feel like we went over a lot of stuff today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Ain't no worries, bro. Yeah, I mean the conversations can continue. I just don't like fucking up people's realities. So I try to keep the trading, but um smaller group today for sure. And most of us in here are Marines in the first place. So it's like, bro, you already been through the
Yeah,
shit.
today was a good day. Today was a good week. I last couple of days I was adhering to the Zoom call. I think it was yesterday, right? That we had that Zoom call where we talked about like psychology and not trying to get out of trades, and
Oh
I
yeah.
maxed out my profits the last 2 days. So
Fuck yeah. Hey, that's all it's about, bro. It's all about the mind and keeping it, up to par, especially in this trading thing. So hopefully these Zooms can groom you in that manner and we can continue to get those outcomes. But I'm gonna do this for as long as I can, you know what I'm saying? But in the off chance that I'm just not here, then at least hopefully some of these things can stick and ring in your ear when you see it and then just be like, yo, this motherfucker said this last time, so let's follow it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say the same thing over and over 100 times and hope it sticks. So if the Zooms is a good instrument for that, then I'm gonna just keep abusing it. So I've been recording them all and putting them on YouTube and stuff like that, so that way we can use it and abuse it and study it. But it also requires you guys to, put your experience in and actually go watch it as well. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it's a little serious in here in the trading world, but I'm glad you guys are able to maneuver it and you're understanding a lot of it. And the market's actually giving us a lot of great opportunities to learn from. So if you guys can see everything that's mapping out now, everything that goes up must come down. And this has been going up for quite some time. So when the time comes to go down, hopefully we're all in the position to start making some fucking money. Right. So we need some funded accounts. We need some, at least maybe a real account. If you got enough money, open a your own futures account. You know what I mean? So that way you don't have to get liquidated off $1,000 loss, right? You can hold a little bit longer. But we'll talk about a lot of that stuff when we cross those bridges. But for now, I think we have a good 2 years under our belt before we get any kind of catastrophes, unless we go to war sooner than later, then that'll change things up. And I'm just a guy, bro. I'm not a fucking hedge fund manager. I'm just X. So I have no idea what this stuff means. So it's not financial advice. It's just my personal opinion. And my personal opinion has made me a lot of money. So
bro, I'd rather pay for your experiences and knowledge than fucking go shell out a ton of money to learn some fake bullshit at college.
yeah, that's valid. Yeah, bro. I try to keep the value so I'd be able to over deliver it. And I understand in some cases some people don't make a lot of money. So the price tag can be hefty. But if the knowledge is used, bro, it's inevitable that you're gonna make it back.
This life really does give us all a journey for a reason, bro. Like, I think about it all the time, getting done high school and going out to Ohio for college for a couple years, and then I get my ass back in Jersey now, and it's just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this shit is just really has like a bigger plan, a bigger agenda.
Hell yeah, bro. Shit. If you pay attention to how it feels, that shit shows up for sure. Cause I did 4 years in the military, went home, and it was the most disturbing experience of my life to be back exactly where I came from and have all the things that I had. And I was like, okay, the things that I have are different, but I'm in the same spot with the same people doing the same shit, talking about the same stuff that we've been talking about since we were kids, bro. Like, hell no, bro. I did not do all that shit to come back to get the same life. I wanted change for a reason. And when I went home, it just woke me up and reminded me. And I felt truly disgusted. So I was like, hell no, I can't do this again. So I know how you feel, bro. Especially leaving and coming back. It's like, hell no, there's a lot to be done.
Yeah, bro. Definitely started to get disgusted. And then ironically, I run into you and just changed the whole projection. I thought I was gonna be stuck in this fucked up game.
Nah, it's lit, bro. Shit, I'm happy to say that at least that's how you can view it from that perspective because to me, you know what I'm saying, I personally didn't know what the fuck I was doing for a really long time. So for me to have the confidence and meet you at that time was cool because I was at least able to back what I was talking about. But if you met me about 2 years before that, I'd be like, yeah, bro, I don't know about all this. You could try it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it comes with the journey for sure. If it wasn't for all the conviction that I was given through the accolades that I acquired, I wouldn't never be able to be in front of all of you talking about this stuff right now. Um, so I'm glad that we can all take the same measurement and say, hey, let's listen to this man. Give him a chance. You're giving me some chances, and hopefully you can make some money. You know what I mean, or at least see the market manipulation and take that, and hopefully it's worth what you invested.
Yeah, bro. Like even when we take a losing trade, it's not even a fucking loss in my book. It's just like, all right, that's just like you said, a tax at this point.
Yeah, trader tax. That's my shit. I paid a lot of that. I paid tax and trader tax. So that's facts. Yeah, but it's all about, how you choose to look at it for sure. I think that's the superpower of the world, bro, is having your own mind. So being able to think for yourself and, be there for yourself is the biggest thing. So the job tries to take up more than half of your day. So that way you can't show up for yourself for more than half of the day.
Not for long, my dude. Not for long. I'm getting the fuck out of this shit.
Yeah. Fair. I understand. Takes time, bro. Not saying, but it's gonna take as long as it needs to. And then when the shit happens, it's up from there. So
Yeah,
um
honestly, like the first couple months that you were introducing me to all this, like I think about it quite a bit. Like I literally bullshitted the first like 2 months and put like a little bit of effort into it. And now I look back at it, I'm like, man, bro, you would be so much farther if you would have just put in the fucking effort in those first 2 months. Like I think about that all the fucking time. It drives me nuts.
Man, you got no idea. I don't care to tell you how many trades that would have made me a fucking billionaire by now. And I did the same thing, bro. It's just like you see an opportunity and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go do something else for a little bit, gym session, this or that. You get invited out for a fucking day. You come back and look at it, and it's like, are you shitting me, bro? That was the best trade I ever could have taken in my life. Um, and it all just that was the most expensive beer I ever shared with someone. You know what I mean? I could go down the laundry list of shit that would have taken place for me. But I agree. But in reality, bro, the one unfortunate thing about being human is time. You know what I mean? Depending on the perception you choose to look at it. So right now you're gonna be alive for however long you're gonna be alive. So as long as you spend every day moving forward trying to figure this shit out, then inevitably you're gonna end up where you want to be. It's just a matter of how much do you show up for yourself. Most people show up for themselves, but they show up for themselves in a weird way where they think they're doing it, but they're not. It's like walking into the gym, lifting up biceps, doing like 2 reps on the bicep machines and then talking for your friend the whole time. And then you go home and you're like, yeah, I went to the gym today. You did, but like you didn't. You know what I mean? So if you show up the right way and you get the reps the right way, then it will be inevitable. But if you disguise what showing up for yourself looks like, then you're gonna get disguised results. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah. In the beginning, I feel like that the way you just described that with going to the gym, I feel like I was showing up, putting in minimal effort, and then leaving and was getting pissed off and watching everybody make money in the market. And I'm just sitting in the sidelines, like, what the fuck am I doing wrong here? And it just, I had to go back and like, I feel like I absorbed a little bit of information and then thought I could just run with it. And then really learned fast that's not how this fucking works.
Yeah.
And went through quite a few fucking accounts and had to start grinding down and just getting more textbook with it. And yeah, the discipline, bro, is purely where my ignorance was at.
Yeah, I dig it. There's a funny, well, not a funny meme, but there's a very realistic meme where it's like your boy tells you to get into trading and then it like fast forwards. Good. It like fast forwards into the dude having to go through like hella shit. So it just shows like war scenes and everything. And then they meet up again and they're just like, yeah, bro, like how was it getting into trading? And it's like, yeah, you knew exactly what I was about to go through. And all you can do is just laugh like a maniac. I'll find the meme though, but it's kind of wild because for me, it's like I understand what trading's like, but based off of my experiences, I personally believe that I could stop everyone from avoiding or sorry, experiencing all the bad stuff. But I learned really fast after mentoring that it's not trading, it's technically how we're taught as human beings. That's the problem. And we all go to the same schooling system. We all have the same opportunities that are given to us, but for some reason there's a lot of limitations in society when it comes down to location, skin color, fucking grandpa, what did your dad do for you? Like there's so many intricacies that makes a person feel like they just aren't on the same spectrum of your race because by race I mean like measurement of how far along you are on the track, you know, and all it is like, bro, how much time did you put towards something? So when you look at me, you're like, oh shit, 24 millionaire, fucking trading, doing this thing. But it's like, if I started at 30, it would take me the same amount of time as it took me now. It's still 9 years. 9 years is 9 years. So whenever you started it, expect that timeline. You know what I mean? So if you didn't start earlier, then there's the time tax. You know what I mean? So in that manner, it's like, bro, again, shit is just gonna take the time that it takes, and it's gonna allow you to go along your own journey. No matter how many times my parents told me not to touch the stove, I had to find that shit out for myself. You know what I mean? And I guess the same thing's going through with this mentorship and a lot of the mistakes that some of you make, but it's inevitable. And all we can do is just try to keep the open ear and drop the ego. That's the biggest thing about trading and actually being a student, dropping the fucking ego.
Yeah, you got to get burned a couple times, my dude. You got to learn. You got to go through those fucked up lessons to understand that what this market's here for.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. This thing will definitely take a lot of your fucking money if you can't look in the mirror and see where the deficiency is happening because someone else is making it work. Every time you lose a trade, someone is winning one. And that shit fucked me up, bro. I remember being in my bedroom and this dude said that out loud. I forget where it was on YouTube, but he said every time someone loses a trade, someone's winning one because technically you wouldn't be able to be in the trade unless someone was betting against you. So that means if you're losing the trade and they're winning the trade all the time, then you're just ass. And are you really about to just be ass, bro? You're gonna let all these people just keep allowing you to take a position and then somehow manipulate you. And is it your fault? Is it their fault? Who are you gonna blame? Right. And after I heard that shit, bro, I was like, damn, hell no. I'm good at all these other games. I'm competitive in all these type of physical activities. But in here, I'm gonna just let this dude take my lunch money every time I press the buy button. Hell no, bro. So I had to get to the books.
Glad you got on them books, my dude.
Yeah, bro. If you think about it like that, if you're a man, then you really hate to see another man get one over on you. And that shit was happening to me way too well. Yeah. But yeah, Zoom call, lit. Definitely a lot of cool conversations and psychologies. I got a lot on my chest to talk about, but we'll get it gradually before it sounds like I'm drilling stuff. So um from this point forward, at least, we have studied a little bit about this stuff for the past 2 days, right? With the accumulation, distribution, and such. So again, I'm going to release the psychology videos that will actually go into the intricacies of it all this month. So I'm in the process of getting the PDFs and the pictures situated so we can get one. And then from there, I'd be able to talk on it, make the videos. So for now, all these Zooms are what would serve those purposes. So I'm getting them downloaded. The one from yesterday can be uploaded to YouTube now. So I got y'all. And then I'll get this one downloaded and do the same. But in the meantime, uh, this is the stuff that we need to actually consider. And the stuff is going through your own personal mind and asking yourself, where are your deficiencies? And if you can ask yourself the right questions to get the right answers, I would love to sit down with each one of you one on one and let's talk about it and make some kind of regimen that can counteract your own personal grievances, right? If there's a problem that you are doing for yourself, maybe we can conquer it by keeping each other accountable. And if I got to text 100 people in a single day, all day, then if that's what it takes, then I'm down to do it. So let's try to get this thing scheduled out, right? And if you can, hit me up when you have those things figured out for yourself, and let's sit down and actually talk about it and dig into the intricacies of your own personal situation. Because if you feel like the strategies make sense and your entries and all these things, then your psychology is probably what needs to be altered. And it's hard for me to just give one explanation to all of you and for you to all to understand it. You know what I'm saying? So let's make it more interpersonal. So if you guys could do that for yourself, for me, that'd be cool. But outside of that, today's trading day was really dope. The analysis was absolutely phenomenal. Everything kind of mapped out perfectly, especially after yesterday's explanation used on today's chart. So it's pretty sick. And again, all the questions and stuff like that are pretty dope. So just keep them coming. And if you guys got more, we can continue to run it. But other than that, we can conclude the Zoom. I'll get it downloaded and then get everything uploaded for us on YouTube.
Appreciate the info, Brody. Like
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, like
Thank you, son.
hi.
Appreciate you, bro. Take it easy.
I appreciate y'all too, man. Well, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Yo,
Watch The Big Short, man. What's up?
call me so we can figure some things out.
Okay. Yeah, got you, bro. I'll call you right now. All right, family. I'll talk to you. Peace.
Later.